Hi everyone, I hope you are well, and if this is the first time to the channel, welcome. First off, if you are having trouble, I have a great sleep aid for you. I actually highly recommend that you download the Real Estate Board's latest proposal called the Affordability White Paper, which honestly has more about how to or how not to protect consumers when it comes to buying and selling homes. I think the title of the document is highly ironic. There is literally nothing in this report that is going to make housing more affordable. And if you want a copy, I will put a link down below. And I'm not going to waste any of your time. I'm going to get straight to the point on today's topic, which is why I think the federal government's proposal to introduce open bidding, I don't think it's going to lower prices, and it actually might backfire. The federal government needs to get their act together and put forward some sort of agency that gets the municipalities and the provincial governments and the federal government all to work together and make more housing available and make it affordable. You know, how many times that I see luxury developments? We don't need more luxury developments, but that's where the developers make all of their money, on premium product. So it's crazy making. And like I said, unless the government gets a handle on this, and of course, they're not telling it like it is, which is the lack of supply, which we all know. Like, let's just be honest about it. And then the investors. As I've stated in my last newsletter, 92% of all new homes across Canada are being bought up by investors. And in Vancouver and Lower Mainland, 44% of all resale, that's pre-existing homes, are going to investors. And like I say, you know, when you have a buyer like myself or like you going to buy a home, the bank gives you a number and this says, listen, based on your income, this is what you can afford based on your down payment. But when an investor shows up, he's got a wheelbarrow of cash behind him and his criteria is a little bit different. And he's willing to go 100, 200. Heck, my last home sale was $285,000 over asking. It's good for sellers, but really bad for buyers. And the other reason the board knows, but for the government, like I said, they've just buried their heads in the sand, which is right now in Vancouver, because there's such a lack of supply and there's so much pressure on house prices to go up. Vancouver is actually losing people. People are actually leaving Vancouver because they just can't afford it anymore, which, I mean, I guess, you know, at the end of the day, that's a great solution if that's the way you see it. Right now in Vancouver, for every home for sale, there's 3 buyers waiting to buy. And in Langley and Surrey, if you live in those areas, it's much, much better. For every home for sale, there's 7 buyers. So, and I want to put this in numbers for you, just to kind of give it some context. If you look all across BC, for the 24,000 listings that are available right now, there are 67,000 buyers. It's crazy, and it's terrible. And unless the government, and like I don't want to bore you, you know, unless the government does what I'm thinking they should do, maybe they've got a better solution, but I mean, it's 2022. They haven't proposed anything as far as I'm concerned. They just put in more controls. They raise interest rates. They make it harder to borrow. So if you have some solutions, please put them in the comments below. I would love to hear what other people think. And as I said, the Real Estate Board has actually put forward a white paper, which is mostly a response from the board about some of the proposals that the BC government are putting forward to try and protect consumers. So we have this very real problem, like I said, which is we have closed bidding. And it's a terrible position to be in because you don't know what somebody else is bidding. It's very frustrating when you lose and someone just says, well, somebody beat you. And you don't know how much. Was it 5,000, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000? So in that sense, I agree 100%. But there's another problem. They've done where they have open bidding, New Zealand, Australia, Sweden. I'm sure there's a few other countries that 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 I'm not aware of, but they've actually done studies, and they actually think that the open bidding drives up prices, because when a buyer sees a bid, and I can see all the bids, and say the bid's at 1 million, I'm going to go 1,010,000 because I want that house. And then the next buyer is going to go 1,015,000 or 20,000. It actually adds to the bidding war, making the prices go even higher. With a closed system, there's an uncertainty there. And a lot of buyers, when they get to a certain point, when they get to that million, they might just opt out because they don't know when it ends. So if the provincial government is actually serious about open bidding, and the federal government is serious about open bidding, they need to address the investor problem first. Because if you implement open bidding, the problem that we have with investors is going to be compounded. We already have a problem with the investors. In my opinion, low interest rates and investors is what's driving, and low inventory on homes is what's driven prices. But if you open up the bidding, what's going to happen as a buyer, you or I, when we go to the bank says you're approved based on your down payment and your combined family income to spend $1 million. Not a penny more. And let's just say you're in a multiple offer situation against an investor with a wheelbarrow full of cash, and not the same constraints from the bank as you or I. You're in a bidding war and your max bid is 1 million. The investor sees your bid, and what is he going to do? He's going to bid $10,000 over your bid, and you're going to lose. So I really do believe this. The government needs to take care of the investor problem first before implementing open bidding. And like I said, I am completely in favor of open bidding. I think it's a great idea. I think we need transparency. I think when somebody loses a bid, they need to know why they lost it. But like I said, unless they address this problem with investors first, I just think you're going to add to the problem. The other big topic that the Real Estate Board's white paper addresses is consumer protection. In fact, like I said, they don't even really address housing affordability, so I don't know why they called the white paper this. Real estate is a shady business. You know, I get calls and emails all the time, and it's very frustrating for me because I'm always trying to educate people, and I'm always posting testimonial videos from clients and testimonials because I want people to see that I'm good at what I do. And I've actually got 2 calls this past week from people regretting who they chose to work with as a realtor and regretting choosing not to work with me. I am so frustrated and ready to pull out my hair. So here it is. There is only one way to protect yourself in a real estate transaction. If consumers and the government and the board are really serious about protecting consumers, which everybody is saying they're tired of real estate, they're tired of bad realtors doing bad things. There is only one way to protect yourself. And from my experience, most people will never do it. Even if you tell them the stats, I think it's like 86% of all home buyers and home sellers report some sort of problem with their real estate agent. 86%. Just this past year alone, consumer complaints against realtors have risen 40% when it comes to either buying or selling a home. So no wonder, as a general rule, the general public does not trust the real estate agent or the real estate profession. But what if I told you there's an easy fix? The easy fix that government will not recommend, that the real estate board won't recommend, and what 90% of home buyers and home sellers will never do. And it's this. And I say this all the time. It's the easiest fix. It will change the industry. Insist on and get and check references. If the realtor or a contractor that's going to work on your home, a subcontractor, a roofer, or any other business that you're going to spend a lot of money on does not have references from clients with phone numbers for you to talk to, what's wrong? The only thing that I can think of is either they haven't been in business for very long, which is a problem, or they don't think references matter. Because even if you haven't been in business for very long, if you've had 2 clients, you should have 2 testimonials. You should have 2 references. You know, the fact of the matter is I've got to the point where, honestly, I do take my own advice. I have walked away from suppliers who do not have references for me. I have learned the hard way. I Google people online and I read the reviews. And if they don't have testimonials, or if they refuse, or if they give me excuses and they say, you know, I value my client's privacy, so I don't offer references. I don't want people bothering my clients. Well, I'm going to tell you something. My clients love me. My clients would love to speak to you on my behalf. So why aren't their clients willing to? What is wrong? I'm sorry, you know, if I'm getting excited and I'm getting all, it's a huge red flag. And like I said, it is an easy fix. Stop looking to government to put in all these rules and regulations, which just makes it like worse for everybody. Because every time, like I said, open bidding, great idea, let's implement it. But there is a con to it. There's another side. And you know, when government puts in all these regulations to try and protect consumers, when there's an easy fix, I'm sorry, it's just, to me, there's no downside to having references and asking for references. You know, every time there's a transaction, there's nothing wrong with the board sending an email to the home buyer or home seller and saying, listen, how was your experience with your realtor? We are concerned as a profession about the professionalism of our realtors and our members. We want to make our industry better for the consumer. So why doesn't the board get behind this? So like I said, I really do believe, whether it's a subcontractor, whether it's a realtor or anyone else, if somebody doesn't have references with people that you can speak to, I think it's a huge red flag, and I think you should run in the opposite direction. And I do think it's an easy fix to the real estate industry. It would change things overnight. I once had a client who sold her home through me. So she's already my client. And then she went to one of these new home developments and they have their own realtors, which is fine. And she was literally gushing right in front of me as she described his Rolex watch, which I don't wear a Rolex. I don't even wear a watch. The clothes that he was wearing, his expensive Italian suit, his beautiful soft leather shoes, and he was so well spoken. She was literally gushing while she was telling me about this realtor. But you know what? It was all based on the external. A month later, she's calling me saying that she's had nothing but problems, asking me what she should do. And by that time, there is nothing that I can do. You are in contract with another realtor. The board actually forbids me to give you advice about what you need to do while you're on your contract with another realtor. These contracts are airtight. Lawyers create these contracts, and you are stuck unless the realtor or the brokerage who they work for decides to release you. And 9 times out of 10, if you've already signed and you're along that path, they're not going to release you. And that's, you know, even my boss, hi Nico, maybe you're watching this video, everybody says, Kevin, you need a BMW or you need a Lexus, because we live in a society that's blinded by the superficial. If consumers, if government, if the real estate board were serious about protecting consumers, they would tell you right out of the gate, ask for, insist on, and then follow up on those references. Talk to people's clients and customers, and they will tell you about their experience. And if more people stuck to their guns and insisted on references, it would clean up the industry. I'm telling you, it works. So, well, that's my take. Nothing as usual for housing affordable. We've talked about that ad nauseum, and no surprise there. I am curious about your thoughts. Please leave a comment below. I'm always interested in what other people think, and maybe you can sway me with your opinion. You know, I'm always open to learning. And if you stayed with me for this long and you find my information helpful, please don't hesitate to give me a like and share It really helps with growing the channel and helping even more people. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment below or reach out to me. And before I forget, I have finished writing 2 books. One on everything you need to know about selling homes that are under power of attorney or probate, and the other on the 3-step system that I use to consistently sell homes for top dollar. If you're interested in either of these books, they're both in digital format, so they're free. Just send me an email and I will send you the link to those books. Until next time, please know that I'm always here to help, and take care and stay safe.